Hi, everyone. I am Tracy Malone, the author of Divorcing Your Narcissist. You can't make this shit up. Literally, if you're going through a divorce, this is the Bible. It will really help you get started. But today, I want to talk to you about something that my clients feel very emotional about, the ability for the little narcissist to lie in court. How come nothing's done about that? How do they get away with that? Isn't the whole idea you're on trial, you're supposed to be honest and tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Well, that's not how narcissists work, right? We do know that they're sneaky and they're slimy and they lie and they do whatever the heck they want to, even in court, because they're entitled and because they believe that they won't get caught. And if they do, they'll talk their way out of it. Oh, I guess I just didn't remember it correctly, even though it's now part of the court record and they've made false allegations. They play this game all the time. And why do they get away with it? That's what we're going to look at today. It's a lot more complicated, and I wish there was an easier answer, but courts are not equipped to handle the amount of lies and the drama that comes from them. So, you know, anyone who has been through a contentious divorce or is in the middle of one, the thought of lying under oath is shocking and frustrating, and it's perjury. It's punishable by law, but nothing ever happens. This frustrates my clients. It frustrated the hell out of me during my divorce, where we had 7 trials, and it was lie after lie after lie. We weren't fighting over anything that couldn't be done in mediation, but it was lies and all of this stuff, right? So if you've watched your ex lie about their, say, income, right? That's a big place they lie. They hide assets. They will lie about your parenting and lie about your behavior, make false allegations, turning you into the perpetrator and them into the victim. And that is so frustrating. You've tolerated this crap for long enough. You've been putting up with it. And then they sit there and they tell blatant lies right there and nothing gets done, right? So we think about it, the idea of lying in court to someone who is truthful and honest, it would never do that. Why would we do that? I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not that girl. But in family court, these things, these false claims, which again, the core of a narcissist being, then there's omissions and just outright lies. And so when this happens, it's going to affect the parenting time. It's going to affect the financial, stability and the sort of thing. But they'll just sit there and claim, "Oh, I forgot. Oh, I misunderstood. Oh," if they get caught. And yet they don't necessarily get caught and they don't get put into contempt of court. That said, my ex was in contempt 6 out of 7 of our trials. 6 times he was told, "You do that by next week," meaning bring his paperwork in after a year and a half, or you'll go to jail. 6 times you'll go to jail. You'll go to jail. You'll go to jail. Sir, you got another week. You better get in here and get that stuff. He never did it. Right. And in the end, the judge was pretty pissed off at that. And I got 5% more of our savings, which is not much because it cost me 7 fucking trials to go and fight the lies, right? So 5% was not a lot of money when you're talking a very small pot to begin with, right? So why don't the judges do anything? Why don't they care, right? When this happens in their courtrooms, do they not have like a judicial responsibility? It's that they're overburdened. They have huge caseloads and limited resources. And, the time it would take to put someone in contempt often gets pushed to the side. They just want to get you out next, next. They don't really care about the lies, but you will care. And you have to learn um, which ones are important, make sense to fight and to prove wrong. You should always be fighting with the truth and the actual facts and documenting everything to prove the lies. Often the judge doesn't hear them, or if they do, they hear the truth and they give them a "don't do that anymore." But the more we show them, the more truth you put out there to the judge, the less they're going to be able to ignore this kind of thing. So it is your responsibility to, again, to fight the lies, to do that work, to prove them wrong, to keep journals, to keep documentations. And they just sit there and they throw out another one while you're solving one and showing them that that was a complete lie. Boom, the next thing happens. So judges also, the reason that they don't do much is that they have like total latitude. What happens in this courtroom does not necessarily mean that the judge in that courtroom would actually do the same thing. They get to make up their minds. It's their caseload, it's their thing. Maybe they don't like you, or maybe they don't like your ex, or maybe they think they're pretty cool and they're not gonna take offense to that, right? And in some cases, judges really think that, holding somebody in contempt, even when deserved, could be viewed as disruptive into the whole co-parenting next chapter of the life. Like if you think about that, that is so absurd. Um, that they're just trying to keep the peace later by allowing lies. I don't understand this, but it's the way the court system works. That's why I'm telling you this is if you're experiencing this, it's not you. Every single one of my divorce clients, I've dealt with this like untruthfulness, the lies, the hiding of the assets, oh yeah, I forgot I had a $5 million bank account. Silly me. Only if you catch them, right? It's this is the hardest part about divorcing a narcissist, right? There's no enforcement of them to be honest. And so it just keeps escalating and escalating, and you keep spending money to try to prove this. If it has to do with your co-parenting, there should be things that you are documenting. Make sure your lawyer's aware that was a lie, because those are the kind of things that affect your parenting time. If they're lying about money, you've got to prove it. Unfortunately, the burden's on you to say, no, here's the receipts, right? Again, it's not fair. And how do we get through this? Document it, make sure that your lawyer is aware of these things, and keep fighting. It's an uphill battle, but if you let one lie go, then it's like everything just comes flying down and they have free reign. And it's not, remember, they're doing it to the court, but they're doing it to your friends, they're doing it to your family, they're doing it to your children, right? Lying is the love language of a narcissist, and they're just going to keep on going. But when it comes into court, there is consequences. So whether you get the judge that cares about consequences or you get the judge that don't, you sit there and you try to explain, because you don't know which one they're going to do, right? If you could prove 100 lies, does that make a difference? In this courtroom, maybe, in this one, not. So you ask your lawyer what matters, because some lies just will not matter. If the kids are older, and you're not going to be sharing custody with them, they can lie all they want about your parenting time. It will not affect your parenting time. I mean, the judge's decision is what I'm saying. So know which ones to fight, know which ones to, not necessarily let go, but hold that package of information. Because if you end up in somebody like a parent coordinator or a JL, PRE, these are lawyers for your children, they look at that stuff. They look at it with intention and they look at it with understanding. Hey, that isn't true. This is who the parent really is. So know your rights, and don't let it bother you that they're lying in court. Do something about it. And that means gather that evidence, gather the stuff, give it to your lawyer, and make every attempt you can to correct the record for things that matter. I personally corrected the record too many times for things that didn't matter, and it cost me an awful lot of money in court. So, my advice to you is pick your battles wisely. And if they matter for your case, then find a way to get the evidence to the judge, whether they hear it or they don't. Let's hope they do, right? Contempt of court also doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be hauled off and taken out. Most judges do not even, sentence anybody for contempt of court. Like my ex, 6 times, you're in contempt, you're in contempt, you're going to jail. Nothing ever happened. And so therefore he got to keep lying. He got to keep all his money and all the things he'd hidden. That's the way the system works. So this is Tracy Malone. I am sorry to bring you this great bad news, but this is the way the court system works. And if you're confused about it, so is everyone else. But unfortunately, liars lie, narcissists lie, and your job will be to prove them wrong if it matters in court. So, till next time, I'll see you all. If you are looking for more information on divorcing your narcissist, this book is really good, and I hope that you can go get it on Amazon, on Audible, wherever you need it, because it's going to give you a foundation to know what to expect. On the back, it says, if you're aware, you can prepare. And that's what that book is. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining me.